What is up guys, Ixovad here. In this video, we'll show you 15 crazy coincidences that happened in real life. These ranges from lightning strikes, shipwrecks, to predictions that looked like someone traveled from the future. These aren't urban legends or fiction, they're real events, backed by history, witnesses, and eerie timing. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. When the first atomic bomb hit, he survived with serious burns and returned home to Nagasaki. Just 3 days later, while telling his boss what happened, the second bomb dropped, and he survived that too. He's the only person officially recognized for surviving both atomic blasts, and he lived to be 93 years old. In 1898, Futility, a novel by Morgan Robertson, described an unsinkable ship named the Titan that hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sank. It mirrored the Titanic tragedy, 14 years before it happened. In the 1930s, a baby fell from a Detroit building and landed unharmed on Joseph Figlock, a man walking below. A year later, the same baby fell again and landed on the same man, again unharmed. Mark Twain was born in 1835 during Halley's Comet's appearance and predicted he'd die when it returned. In 1910, he died the day after the comet's closest approach to Earth. This is a real question for you guys. If you're struck by lightning 3 times, are you lucky or unfortunate? As an optimist, I think this guy is pretty lucky, considering he survived 3 lightning strikes in a lifetime. Meet Walter Summerford. He's a British Army major. His first lightning strike happened during combat in 1918 in Belgium, which paralyzed his legs temporarily. After retiring to Vancouver, Canada, Summerford was struck again in 1924 while horseback riding. This time, the lightning threw him off the horse. In 1930, he was hit yet again while fishing during a thunderstorm. This third strike confined him to a wheelchair permanently. Here's a twist. Even in death, lightning struck him again, but this time it hit his gravestone in 1936, which split in half. Violet Jessup, famously nicknamed Miss Unsinkable, led one of the most incredible lives in maritime history. She was a stewardess aboard the RMS Titanic in 1912 when the ship tragically struck an iceberg and sank in the North Atlantic. Violet escaped the disaster aboard Lifeboat 16, surviving one of the deadliest maritime tragedies in history. She had also been aboard the RMS Olympic in 1911 when it collided with a British warship, but she survived. And in 1916, during World War I, she was serving as a nurse on the HMHS Britannic when it hit a mine and sank in the Aegean Sea. Once again, she lived to tell the tale. 3 near-death experiences at sea, 3 different ships. The Simpsons has famously predicted dozens of real events, from Donald Trump's presidency, to Disney buying Fox, to the invention of smartwatches. One of the creepiest? A 2000 episode showing Trump descending an escalator, which happened in real life 15 years later. King Umberto I of Italy met a man who looked identical to him, had the same name, same birthday, and same wife's name. The next day the man was shot and killed, and King Umberto was assassinated later that day. On Friday the 13th of October 2017, a real scheduled flight from Copenhagen, CPH, to Helsinki, HEL. That's right, Flight 666 to HEL. On Friday the 13th. It even took off at 1300 local time. The airline played along with the superstition, but insisted there was no curse, and the flight landed safely. Still, it was the final time Flight 666 was used on that route. George Tierney was the first worker to die while constructing the Hoover Dam. The last was his own son, Patrick Tierney, 14 years later on the same day. President John F. Kennedy and President Abraham Lincoln share eerie coincidences. Both were assassinated on a Friday, in the presence of their wives, by someone with 3 names. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, while Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. In 1838, famed horror author Edgar Allan Poe published the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. In the story, a group of shipwrecked sailors, starving and desperate, draw lots and end up cannibalizing the cabin boy, a boy named Richard Parker. Fast forward 46 years to 1884. The yacht Mignonette sank in the South Atlantic. 4 men survived on a lifeboat. Starving, they killed and ate the youngest crew member to survive, a cabin boy. His name, Richard Parker. In 1975, in the Republic of Honduras, a man was riding a moped when he was struck and killed by a taxi. Exactly 1 year later, his twin brother was riding the same moped on the same road when he was also hit and killed by the same taxi with the same driver, carrying the same passenger. When Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in 1914, it triggered World War I. But here's the eerie part. The license plate on the Archduke's car read 11/11/18. Years later, World War I ended on Armistice Day, which is November 11th, 1918, or 11/11/18, the plate on the vehicle that started the war. It unintentionally predicted the date the war would end. Mesut Ozil and Enzo Ferrari share a bizarre connection. Not only do many fans say they resemble each other, but both are tied to the year 1988. Ferrari passed away that year, while Ozil was born. 2 icons, one in football and the other in the automotive world, connected by an uncanny coincidence in time and appearance. Coincidences are everywhere, waiting to be discovered. But sometimes, it's the strangest ones that make us question, are they really just accidents, or is there something more at play? Even the golden ratio, 1.618, shows up in everything from pine cones and galaxies to DNA strands and hurricanes, even though nature never intended it. Drop a comment below and let us know your favorite coincidence. Also, what do you want to see next video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more mysteries like this. See you in the next one.